Welcome back to the channel, RacerX here, and today I thought I would put a quick video together for you guys about an announcement that just came down from Stellantis regarding their Hurricane engine. Apparently they just did a refresh on it and it is going to be bad to the bone. And I know a lot of you guys out there, you're pure V8 guys, but I think this engine could be pretty wicked in one of their new offerings, maybe coming out as soon as the end of 2026. And I'll tell you all about it today and why I think this is a really good thing for the Dodge brand. If you guys are brand new to the channel, do me a big gigantic favor, hit subscribe. You can find that button right over here. It's completely free, and on we go with the video. Today I'm back in Largo, Florida with my buddies at Dream Giveaway because I wanted to show you their Ford GT giveaway. Just look at this beast. If you've never seen one of these things in person, you really get no gauge of just how low and how wide this car is. I mean, it truly is an epic looking car. It makes a huge statement on the road and they are an absolute ton of fun to drive. This car is a 2005. These are almost impossible to find out there. And of course, being Dream Giveaway, they're going to give it away to somebody. It's wild to think that this car is 20 years old and it's actually modeled after a car that's what, like 60 years old or something like that. But what a statement this would make on the road. Supercharged V8 sitting behind your head. I just want to give you a really quick look at what an amazing piece of machinery this is. There is that supercharged engine right there. And you just get no concept, as I mentioned, of just how low to the ground this car sits. So if you have not already gone to Dream Giveaway's website and entered to win this amazing Ford GT, make sure you do so and make sure you enter my code RacerX because you get not one, not two, not three, but 4X entries on all of their giveaways just by using their code. That's something that I kind of negotiated with them at the beginning of the year simply for my subscribers out there. But I have sat in this car. I would love to go drive this a little bit, but they don't want to put the miles on it. But what a specimen of a car. I entered to win. If you guys haven't done it, make sure you do so. I will pin a link in the comments section to make it easy to find, and on we go with the video. So up until now, we have only seen the inline 4-cylinder turbo in vehicles like this, which is the Jeep Compass. Now this one actually is not considered a Hurricane engine, although it is an inline 4-cylinder turbo. And of course, the Hornet GT, which I cannot find any of. I just did a video about how that vehicle is going away, and it does make considerably more than the 200 horsepower this makes, but it is way underpowered compared to the revised Hurricane that they just announced. Now, a while back, I reviewed the Hornet GT on my channel, and I had some good things to say about that car and some not so good things to say about it. And there it is in the flesh, on the ground. It is actually for sale. That is the 2023 Dodge Hornet GT. This car, I will admit, it doesn't really feel as much like a Dodge as it does an Alfa Romeo. Here is the engine in the 2023 Dodge Hornet GT. This is a 2-liter turbo, no mistaking the fact that it is a turbo. Of course, you can see the turbo right here, a very neat and clean engine bay. But I just want to kind of just roll into the throttle a little bit. And it is surprisingly quick. I was not expecting this to be quick, but it is. That little turbo gets down and there's no lag. I always try and be objective with my reviews, but one of my biggest takeaways with that vehicle is it did not feel short on power. One of the things that Dodge said about that car was it has the most power and the most torque in its class of anything out there. And you definitely feel it when you drive it. I mean, technically it makes 268 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, but it definitely felt faster than that. Of course, we know the Hornet is probably going to go away with the tariffs. We know it's built in Naples, Italy, and don't expect to see truckloads of Hornets coming in anytime soon. I talked about it in my last video. I feel like that car is basically done now. It just didn't do well in the marketplace, and it doesn't make any sense for Dodge to continue to produce it. But I kind of felt like the GT, the base version of this, was faster than the RT, which is actually the hybrid version. And numbers didn't necessarily say that, but I felt like when I drove both of them, there was a little more power under the curve with the GT, which is the term that I preferred. I really do like the Hurricane 4. Now, Stellantis just came out and said that they are revising the Hurricane 4, and it's going to be the new upgraded engine in the Jeep Grand Cherokee for 2026, which seems weird, right? To go from a Pentastar, which puts out 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, to a revised 4-cylinder turbo. but this new 4-cylinder turbo is going to be pretty darn nasty. They did a lot of different things to this new engine to make it pretty stout. So let's talk a little bit more about this new Hurricane 4 turbo that they're coming out with, because I know a lot of you guys simply hate it because it's a 4-cylinder. You hate it because it's a 6-cylinder. A lot of you guys, if it's not a V8, it sucks. Matter of fact, it doesn't matter what it is. If it doesn't have a V8, it sucks, according to some people. I mean, it could be a moped, a freaking blender, a lawnmower. If it doesn't have a V8, it's freaking awful. I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. And there are a lot of 4-cylinders out there that are a ton of fun to drive. And I really feel like Dodge would do really well with a new sport compact. I've talked about it a lot in the past about how a new Dodge Stealth, I feel like, would do wonders in this marketplace because nobody else is doing it. There's this huge hole in the segment, and like nobody is making these. Now, of course, Dodge previously had like the Neon, and then they had the SRT 4 version of the Neon, which I thought was a pretty awesome little car. A lot of you guys aren't old enough to remember those cars, but they were a lot of fun, and they were more of an entry-level offering, okay? Dodge doesn't have a whole lot for young buyers that don't want to spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And that is a problem. This is what I've been preaching to McAleer and Kaniskus now for years and years. It's like, where is this, you know, the small car, the more affordable car, but that's still a lot of fun to drive, right? And the Dodge Stealth from the early 90s was awesome, right? They had the Stealth, and then of course Mitsubishi, who they partnered with, had a 3000 GT, and then they had hopped up versions of those cars. The Mitsubishi version was a VR4. The Dodge was the RT, right? The Dodge Stealth RT. And these were 6-cylinder turbos, 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive. And for back in the day, they were like little missiles. I mean, they were one of the fastest things on the road for back in the day.
Out corners a Porsche Carrera. Has been called the affordable Ferrari by Motor Trend and was named one of the world's top 10 performance car values. You call it the Dodge Stealth RT Turbo.
And they were really kind of underrated. I actually really do like those cars. I think they did a great job on the design of those. And I feel like there's this huge hole out there where if Dodge put out a new Stealth that looked really good, that had a hopped up 4-cylinder in it that was just fun to mod, I feel like that would bring a whole new segment into Dodge. Young buyers, right? Not all the old heads that just want V8s or whatever. And I like I said, I love V8s just like everybody else. But I think they could do a really good job and make it pretty darn affordable, because this new 4-cylinder that they're coming out with, the new Hurricane, it's very light, right? You're talking about a cast aluminum block. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I feel like it's moddable. I mean, the sky is the limit with a little car like this. And to kind of really understand, I mean, I know it doesn't, 324 horsepower is what it's going to be rated at, and 332 pound-feet of torque. That is actually quite a bit. I know it's not going to set your hair on fire. You're used to a, 700 horsepower Hellcat. I get all that, right? But we're up 56 horsepower and 37 pound-feet of torque compared to the old Hurricane 4, and that is pretty substantial. In Dodge's press release on this newly revised Hurricane 4, which just came out last week, they talked about several things that I really liked. One of which was it produces 20% more power while using 10% less fuel. And a lot of that has to do with the injection. It's actually dual injection. They're using both port and direct injection on this, which is kind of like race technology. And they go to lengths talking about all the different race features of this new engine. And I feel like that is really important, because as I mentioned, if they're going to do a new sport compact and they want to kind of give it that race pedigree, this is absolutely the perfect engine to do that. And you kind of have to look to see what else is out there in the segment. But they do talk quite a bit in the press release. It runs on 87 octane fuel, which means it won't be an expensive engine to operate. Lots of really good things with this, but you sort of have to look at what else is out there in the segment, right? I mean, you talk about something like a Subaru WRX STI. Like I had one of those on my channel for a while. They stopped making it in 2021, but it had a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo, a boxer engine that made 310 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque. And that car is extremely darty and fun to drive. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but take it from me, it's still a really fun car to drive. And it's way down in power compared to this new Hurricane. Also, let's say like a 2-liter Elantra N, another really fun car to drive. There's a lot of people that really like that car. 276 horsepower, 289 pound-feet of torque. Not even close to what this new Hurricane 4 is going to do. The Golf R. There's a ton of people that love Golf Rs. They are very darty. A lot of people like to hop those cars up. 2-liter turbo, 328 horsepower. So right there, horsepower-wise, 295 pound-feet of torque, way down in torque compared to the new Hurricane. 0 to 60 still under 5 seconds on that car in a manual. And then, of course, a 2.3-liter EcoBoost from Ford, the Mustang, a much bigger car, a heavier car, 315 horsepower, so it's down in horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque, which means it's a little up on torque. But then again, like I said, it's moving a bigger car. And when you talk about power under the curve on this new Hurricane, at like 2,600 RPM, it's making basically full torque. So that means the power comes in really, really fast with this new engine. Up to 36 PSI is how much boost it's going to make. So it's going to be a very robust little engine. I can't imagine how much fun a little Stealth would be. Completely revised, looks really, really good. Give it a really nice modern interior, and then maybe have it come out like in the mid-30s, right where that Hornet price point would be. I think a lot more people would be apt to say, now that's a little bit more like the Brotherhood of Muscle, even though it doesn't necessarily sound like a V8. I mean, the Neon didn't fit into that category either, but a lot of people still loved it. We just need a new entry-level sports car that nobody else is doing, and if they did it right, I think it would be a home run for the brand. Now, one of the other reasons that I definitely feel like Dodge is coming out with a new sport compact utilizing this engine is because in the press release, it clearly states that this engine can be used in anything from compact to full-size vehicles. We already said it's coming out in the new Grand Cherokee. We don't think we're going to see the Hornet again. So what in the world are they talking about when they say compact? They don't have anything that's compact, but they clearly stated here, it's a subtle cue, but food for thought, right? I mean, I definitely feel like this is coming, and if they do it right, as I mentioned, nobody else is doing this in the segment. I feel like it could be awesome. I don't know if it's going to be called a Stealth or not. I would love to see it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Well, I'm already losing my light. It's only like 5 o'clock. This daylight saving stuff is absolutely wearing me out. But I just wanted to put this information out there. I know for you V8 purists, you really don't care a whole lot about a revised Hurricane 4. But if you are truly a Mopar enthusiast, you have to see the potential in an engine like this, because if it goes in a new sport compact, it goes in the Grand Cherokee, I feel like this thing could also show up in in maybe a Gladiator or a Wrangler at some point, and I feel like that would definitely be a huge step up from the Pentastar as well. That's one of the things I've always said about the Jeeps is they do feel pretty underpowered, unless you're talking about like the 392 or something like that, but those are super expensive. This Hurricane 4 doesn't take up a lot of room. I mean, they could pretty much put it in anything, and it's going to be a little powerhouse. I think there are a lot of different applications that they could use this engine for that would definitely be a step up over what's already in there. So just think about all the vehicles in the lineup and think about how this engine could be good for the Mopar brands themselves. Just wanted to put it out there. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments section. Do you think a new Stealth with this new Hurricane would be pretty awesome? Do you feel like they should go a different direction? I would love to hear it, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, RacerX.